Welcome to our channel. This video is created by artificial intelligence, so please pardon any inaccuracies in the script and unrelated media. Today we will embark on a comprehensive journey through Daniel Defoe's iconic novel, Robinson Crusoe. Before we dive in, it's worth noting that this timeless work was penned in 1719, an era when England was wrestling with substantial political transformations. The echoes of this turbulent time are visible in Defoe's work, a topic we'll touch on during this video. We encourage your interaction. Please like our video, subscribe to our channel, share our content, hit the notification bell, and make sure to leave your comments. With that being said, we warmly invite you to accompany us on this literary voyage through the lens of a crucial historical epoch. And as a bonus, for those of you who stay with us until the end, we will draw a fascinating comparison between Robinson Crusoe and a certain Tom Hanks film. Stay tuned. Today we delve into the captivating world of Robinson Crusoe, written by Daniel Defoe. A chronicle that has stood unscathed by time, it has mesmerized readers since its first publication in the early 18th century. Born in London, Daniel Defoe was an English merchant, writer, journalist, and spy. However, his lasting fame stems from his fictional work, Robinson Crusoe. The novel unfolds saga on a secluded tropical island. Remember the poignant moment when Crusoe finds a footprint on the sandy shore and exclaims, "It happened one day about noon going towards my boat. I was exceedingly surprised with the print of a man's naked foot the shore, which was very plain to be seen on the sand." This simple yet profound line encapsulates the solitude and terror the protagonist feels. Or take his triumphant moment of taming a parrot and teaching it to speak. "I took a great fancy to this creature, and in a little time he began to speak to me." These passages represent his desperate attempts to create some semblance of society, hinting at our need for companionship. Robinson Crusoe's tale is available in two versions for your reading pleasure. An ebook for those who revel in the ease of digital reading, and a high-quality classic book available for purchase on Amazon for those who appreciate the tactile experience of turning pages. Embark with us now on the journey into the world of Robinson Crusoe. Our narrative opens with Crusoe's declaration, "I was born in the year 1632 in the city of York, of a good family, though not of that country, my father being a foreigner." A restless youth, he rejects his father's wish for him to study the laws of the land and instead dreams of life at sea. Ignoring his father's admonition that a middle state was the most suited to human happiness, Crusoe gives in to his wanderlust. He boards a ship bound for London, a decision he would soon regret. Following a dreadful storm, Crusoe finds himself in a predicament that can only be encapsulated by his own words. "I found myself in the midst of the sea, hanging on to our of the ship." He survives the ordeal only to be stranded on a deserted island. Crusoe's struggle against nature are vividly captured in his diary entries, from his inventory of salvaged items, pen, ink, and paper, several things very useful to me, to his gradual mastery of the land. "I sowed my grain in 2 large flat pieces of ground and fenced it in." He grapples with loneliness and despair, recounting that all the while I saw no human creature come near the place, I began to languish for want of company. He finds strength and solace in a Bible he rescues from the shipwreck, its words bringing him comfort, and I began to love the word God. Crusoe's narrative is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. As he puts it, hope is never so utterly extinguished, but that an aggravation of the misery often revives it. And so begins his solitary existence on the island. He documents his life as years turn into decades, his tale becoming one of survival, transformation, and ultimately redemption. Yet this is only the start of his journey, as Crusoe himself warns. There are many more challenges to come and many more lessons to be learned. In this desolate place, Crusoe is alone. As Defoe writes, "I was all alone, circumscribed by the boundless ocean," a vivid description of the sheer isolation faced by our protagonist. "I found a little plain on the side of a rising hill, whose front towards this little plain was steep as a house side. I resolved to pitch my tent," recounts Crusoe as he embarks on the daunting task of creating shelter. He is neither a carpenter nor a builder, but as Defoe keenly observes, necessity is the mother of invention. Crusoe's tenacity is perfectly encapsulated in Defoe's words, "I went to work with courage." The next hurdle is food. As Crusoe himself asserts, he began to think how I should provide for my subsistence. With nothing but rudimentary tools, he traps small animals and forages for edible plants, even begins to cultivate the land. I sowed my seed in 2 large flat pieces of ground, but it isn't an easy task. It is a long time and very laborious, Crusoe writes in his account. Yet survival in wilderness is not only about food and shelter. Crusoe, in solitude, must face the psychological challenges of his condition. He aptly states, "I am alone, circumscribed by the infinite ocean." He finds comfort in a parrot he tames, Poll, who talked pretty well for a bird. Crusoe's poignant struggle with loneliness is highlighted in Defoe's words. It is past description, the horrors that are felt by a condemned to such a loneliness. But through all these challenges, our protagonist evolves into a man of many talents. Crusoe declares, "I was a jack of all trades, becoming a hunter, a farmer, a carpenter." As Defoe concludes in his tale, "Thus, in solitude and hardship, I found contentment." However, Defoe adds a twist, "But my peaceful solitude was not to continue." This sets the stage for the events to follow, marking a turning point in Crusoe's life on the island. In the depths of his solitude, Crusoe stumbles upon a native who he christens Friday. "I took my man Friday and gave him a biscuit and made him understand I would give him one a day." The shock and joy that permeates Crusoe is palpable, a man who has been stranded alone for years, now encountering another soul. He rescues this native from a perilous fate with cannibals, marking their providential meeting. The dynamics of there are not of equals initially. Crusoe, being the one who has mastered the wilderness of the island, assumes the role of the master. I smiled at him and looked pleasantly and beckoned to him to come still nearer. Friday, the newcomer, becomes his servant. However, this hierarchy doesn't affect the bond they form. They become quintessential to each other. A mutual exchange of knowledge and skills takes place. Crusoe teaches Friday his language and faith. I began to instruct him in the knowledge of the true God. Friday brings his indigenous understanding of the land and survival techniques to their alliance. Communication is convoluted, yet they find a way to connect their languages and cultures. I made it my business to teach him everything that was proper to make him useful. As they learn from each other, their bond fortifies. They break bread together, labor side by side, and share moments of mirth. Their camaraderie becomes a beacon of light in the stern reality of their isolated existence. Friday's arrival ushers a change in Crusoe's solitary life. From hence I looked upon my man Friday as a partner. Crusoe is no longer alone, combating the elements in his despair. With Friday beside him, a renewed sense of purpose and hope is found. The island, his prison of the past, now feels like a shared abode. Their life together on the island is not devoid of trials. They confront threats from other natives, and their survival depends on their wits and unity. I had a great mind to bring Friday with me. Nevertheless, despite their trials, their bond persists, symbolizing the resilience of the human spirit and the strength of friendship. In the face of isolation and hardship, they find solace and hope. They understand that survival is not merely about enduring, but also about finding happiness and purpose in the company of another. I began really to love the creature, and on his side, I believe he loved me more than it was possible for him ever to love anything before. In Friday, Crusoe discovers companionship and a resurgence of hope for survival. After enduring years of isolation, Crusoe and Friday, as described in the book, saw a ship at a great distance. I was surprised with the joy of it. It is their first encounter with Englishmen that sets the stage for their return to civilization. As Defoe wrote, "Now I saw an opportunity to put my resolution in practice." With this renewed sense of hope, Crusoe and Friday seized the opportunity to return to their homeland. Upon reaching England, Crusoe faces a reality he had long forgotten. His family, as Defoe writes, burst out a-crying with such excess of joy. The reunion is poignant, filled with joy and tears. As Crusoe explains, "We spent our hours as all such families do." Crusoe, once a castaway, now a returned voyager, finds himself in the middle of a life he had left behind. As he reflects, the notion of being eaten up by savages in triumph was very terrible. Crusoe's return to civilization is not just a physical journey, but also a mental one. He states, "I now upon the world as a thing, remote, which I had nothing to do with. It's a paradox that leaves him with a deeper understanding of life and humanity. In the end, Crusoe's tale is about transformation. From a reckless adventurer, he matures into a thoughtful survivor, finding wisdom in his experiences and strength in his resilience. As he states, "I learned to look more upon the bright side of my condition." Hence, the tale of Robinson Crusoe, as penned by Daniel Defoe, is a timeless story of survival, resilience, and the human spirit that continues to captivate us, reminding us of the indomitable spirit within us, ready to rise in the face of adversity. We're sure you were captivated by Robinson Crusoe and the vivid descriptions of his solitary existence on a deserted island. We took particular interest in the passage, "Thus fear of danger is 10,000 times more terrifying than danger itself." If this quote piqued your curiosity, we recommend you delve deeper. There's a link in the description to a free ebook where you can read this classic in. You'll also find a purchase link for the book on Amazon. To find this, you might have to tap "More" a few times to view the entire description. Thank you for joining us on this literary journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and click the notification bell. We look forward to continuing this exploration in our next video. Before we say goodbye, let's travel back to the world of cinema for a moment. Have you ever noticed the striking similarities between Robinson Crusoe and a popular Tom Hanks movie? Yes, we're talking about Castaway. Both stories revolve around the protagonist's struggle for survival after being marooned on deserted islands. Robinson Crusoe, with his practical knowledge and resourcefulness, manages to create a semblance of civilization on his island. Similarly, Tom Hanks's character, Chuck Noland, employs his wits and will to survive, creating tools from salvaged FedEx packages. But there's an intriguing difference. While Crusoe's tale emphasizes his spiritual journey and moral development, Castaway focuses more on the psychological impact of isolation. Interestingly, both stories highlight the human spirit's resilience and our inherent will to survive, even in the harshest of conditions. While Robinson Crusoe is a classic piece of literature that has inspired countless adaptations and imitations, Castaway is a modern cinematic masterpiece that reminds us of Defoe's timeless tale. For a more detailed comparison, you can visit the link provided in the description below. This page offers an in-depth analysis of the two works, discussing their similarities and differences. The parallels between the two narratives are fascinating, shedding new light on our understanding of human nature and survival. If you're interested in exploring this further, we recommend watching Castaway after reading Robinson Crusoe. Remember, stories, whether in books or movies, often echo each other, offering us new perspectives on familiar themes. It's these intersections that make literature and cinema such an exciting area to explore.